Family and colleagues of Australian academic Kylie Moore-Gilbert have renewed their pleas for her release from an Iranian prison. This Sunday will mark 2 years since she was arrested at Tehran airport and then jailed. In her hometown of Bathurst, family and friends will be taking part in a run to show their solidarity. For more, I'm joined by Dara Conduit from Deakin University, who's a colleague of Kylie Moore-Gilbert. Dara Conduit, thank you so much for your time. Why host a run in particular to mark this sombre anniversary?
Well, we've heard from a source in Karchak prison, which is where Kylie is currently being held, that Kylie's been running in the prison's tiny exercise yard. She has prison-issued plastic bathroom slippers to run in, and despite everything she's been through, she's still jogging. And to us, this shows enormous strength and fortitude. So on this Sunday, her friends, neighbours and teachers in Bathurst will be joining her in solidarity by running 5 kilometres around the banks of the Macquarie River.
Yeah, it's such a small thing but holds so much symbolism. What else do you know about how your friend is doing in Tehran?
So we don't know a lot about Kylie's current situation, but I mean, we know that she's in Karchak prison, which has been declared one of the worst women's prisons in the world. It's overcrowded. It's currently the source of a major COVID-19 outbreak. And it's well known for both extraterritorial torture and killings, but it's also known for, massive violence within the prison population itself. And it's not a situation that any Australian citizen should be in, quite frankly.
Yeah, she was recently moved to that prison from the notorious Evin prison in Tehran. Does she have access to clean water now? Because I know that that was an issue that had come up a couple of weeks ago.
This was an issue about 3 or so weeks ago, according to a report in the Times. Maurice Payne last week commented along the lines that we believe this has now been resolved, so she now has access to clean water. Karchak prison is, such a awful place that clean water isn't even a guarantee. You have to purchase water in order to have access to safe drinking water.
Her family has issued a statement today along with the Foreign Affairs Minister Maurice Payne, who you mentioned, and Maurice Payne says that her release is an absolute priority and that efforts were continuing without pause. What is the latest on the diplomatic efforts to secure her release?
So I'm not privy to discussions that happen behind closed doors, so I can't comment on that. But what I will say is that Kylie's move from Evin prison to Karchak prison last month marked a serious deterioration in her conditions. To the best of our knowledge, the Australian government hasn't had consular access to Kylie since the 2nd of August, which is nearly 40 days ago. And we're deeply concerned about the lack of progress in the case.
So she isn't getting that regular contact with her family and with consular officials? I thought there was some access via phone for that to take place?
There is some access as far as I'm aware, but the ambassador hasn't been able to visit as far as we know since 2nd of August.
Can you say at all how difficult it is to negotiate with Iran's government to try and have a prisoner freed?
It's incredibly difficult to negotiate this, and we don't understate the significant challenge that DFAT faces in resolving this issue. But, Australia is well placed in comparison to many of its Western allies in that it's had a really long and strong relationship with Iran for many decades. It maintained an embassy throughout the Iranian Revolution and has continued throughout the sanctions era and even now to have an embassy in Tehran. So our government is well placed to negotiate to end this crisis and to bring Kylie home. And it's just not clear why at the moment, despite all of this, Kylie is currently being treated worse than any foreign national held in Iran.
You obviously know her quite well. How do you think she's managing, given what kind of a person she is?
Kylie's an incredibly strong person. I mean, I can't speculate on, how she is or isn't managing this, because I think for any of us, it would, she's been put in an impossible situation. But I think the fact that, we have received word that she's running just shows her enormous strength and fortitude. And, we hope this weekend, I am not a runner. I, will be known as one of the laziest people on earth. But, if she can run, I can run. And so that's why we're calling on Australians this weekend to run virtually with Kylie, dust off their runners, and to join with her friends and former teachers in Bathurst and to run.
I'm sure you're not the worst. Yeah, I'm sure you're not the worst runner out there, Dara Conduit. Thank you so much for your time.